Welcome to the Double R Show, the podcast that features everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, directed and produced by Paul Robertson and hosted by the voice of Lincoln City, Roger Robertson.
With me is the mayor of the fair city of Lincoln City, Susan Waukee. And Susan, welcome to your new digs, if you will.
Thank you. They increased the size of my office. It's nice to have a nice big conference table to talk to people around.
And you also use it for council executive sessions, correct?
Executive sessions, there's enough room around the table for all of us to have executive sessions in here.
The office of mayor is open to the general public when?
I am here Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons and often at other times and by appointment.
Now, let's talk about something that you were just showing me. A commissioning ceremony of a Coast Guard cutter is going to be taking place because of an incident in Siletz Bay.
Yes, in 1979, Chief Petty Officer David Duran assisted in a rescue on the Siletz Bay Bar, and the Coast Guard is commissioning a ship to be christened in Astoria, and they have invited me to the commissioning ceremony.
When you first brought this up, it took me a long time. I don't remember the incident. I remember the Coast Guard officer in charge, David Duran, when he was in Depot Bay, but that's a lot of years ago.
Yeah, 1979 was a few years ago.
All right. For the office of mayor, obviously you're probably starting to look at budget already for next year, are you not?
Yes, we are. In a couple of weeks, we will have a budget training, and then in May, we have 2 budget hearings scheduled, and there's also the opportunity to have a third meeting if we need it.
From the standpoint of the general public, how does the public get into being involved with the budgeting process for next year?
Come to the budget hearing and tell us what you think about the proposed budget. Our first meeting, I believe, is the first Monday in May, and approximately 10 days prior to that, the budget will be available online, and I believe there's a printed copy at the library. There used to be. And then come to the hearing and tell us what you think.
And the budget itself is designed by, obviously, the city staff, but you have a lot of impact in approval of that, correct?
Oh, yes, the city manager presents her proposed budget, but the budget committee and city council can make lots of changes to that they see fit.
And do you have a full membership on the budget committee now?
Yes, we do. Thanks to people who have volunteered, we now have the full 7 council and 7 budget committee members who make up the people who will preside at those budget hearings.
And how about some of the other boards and commissions in city government? I think a planning commission, library board, all of these, are they all full or do you have some openings?
I believe at this point they are fairly full. There may be 1 or 2, but people should submit an application if they are interested in one of these committees, because you never know when something will create an opening, and then we will have your application ready to fill that position.
You're in a volunteer position as mayor of Lincoln City, as is all of these other commissions. Why would somebody want to step up and, in some instances, endure a lot of public discourse?
Lincoln City community means so much to me, and I'm just happy that I have the opportunity to serve the people of Lincoln City.
I like that a bunch. You've got some notes, some other activities and events that you want to talk about?
I am honored to have been invited back to Mayor Monday on April 22nd. If there's a local Portland station who interviews mayors on Mondays at 7:30 in the morning, 7:35. So watch for me on April 22nd. And I've been asked to give 2024 State of the City address at the April Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce meeting. That will be on April 23rd at noon, location to be announced. And I'm looking forward to attending the League of Oregon Cities Spring Conference the last week of April. It will be held in Klamath Falls, and it's always a good learning time where there's lots of people from all over the state, and we have our differences, but we have a whole lot of common problems.
State of the City address that you will be presenting to the Chamber of Commerce that is open to the public as well. Anything in there in particular that you'd like to point out?
I will be updating on what our different departments have been doing and looking forward to getting information from the departments in the next couple of weeks.
You've got a big city. I mean, it may not be big in the scope of New York City, but it's a significant budget and a significant number of employees.
Yes, large budget, just over 10,000 residents, but, we have to serve about 40,000 on some summer weekends. So it's a medium-sized city, even though we only have 10,000 residents.
Mayor Susan Waukee, Mayor of the City of Lincoln City, appreciate you being here. Again, I love the new digs that the mayor now has that she can call home.
Yes, I love my new office.
And back in a moment.
Bob's Beach Books in the Ocean Lake area of Lincoln City does in fact have what you'll want to read. I'm Diana Portwood, and if we happen to be out of a particular bestseller, in a day or two we'll have it back in the store waiting for you. Bob's Beach Books, so you can join the conversation.
Wouldn't it be great to have all your insurance needs handled by one agency? This is Charlotte Lado with Farmers Insurance and the Insurance Store. Visit our office next to the Wildflower Grill in Lincoln City. Let us be your one stop for your personal, commercial, health, and Medicare insurance needs.
At City Hall with the city manager for the City of Lincoln City, Daphne LaGarza. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking.
You are excited because this is budget season.
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm excited. There's probably a few other reasons too, but yes.
And the budget process goes how? What's the process for that?
Okay, so the process is quite extensive. We started, I want to say a month or so ago, probably January, we get started. We meet with every single department head, sometimes multiple times because they have multiple budgets, if you will. Each department has different areas that they're responsible for. So it's quite a few preliminary meetings to go line by line through their budgets. And we look at all the different revenue funds and their forecasting and where they stand and where they're headed. That's the forecasting. So it's very extensive. Lots of meetings for the month of February, March for sure. I think we get started in late February with some of the meetings. There's a budget training coming up for our council and our budget committee. Actually, it's one and the same. Our budget committee members are going to have a training coming up this month because we're now in April. And it's just really a 4 or 5 month process that's pretty comprehensive.
Any surprises in there to you?
There's always surprises. And hopefully my budget message is going to cover a lot of those things that may have changed or may have turned out slightly different than we anticipated. And I think there's always just different level of surprises in a budget. You bet.
Right now you've got a budget that you're still dealing with and working through until July. Everything in order there?
Yes, everything's going well there. Our city staff and our city as a whole does a great job of controlling costs and watching spending throughout the year. So we're always, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, but we're always happy with the amount we get accomplished for using the cost controls we do. And again, we're very aggressive with grant funding and things like that. So I'm always pleasantly surprised so far each year at kind of our ending fund balance that kind of helps us get started for the next year.
You really do enjoy this, don't you?
I do enjoy it. It's a little tedious, but it's just so important, and it's such a amazingly useful planning document and communication document, and there's so many benefits to it. So I really do enjoy it.
For the Joe Blow public that's out there thinking, well, with the budget they should do this, that, or the other thing, how do they get involved?
Oh, that's a great That's a great question. Thank you for that. So definitely attend the budget meetings, keep up to date on all things budget, like the budget meetings. One thing I wanted to mention is right now, I've been given direction from the council to look at our citizen involvement committee and approach to citizen involvement. Right now, the bulk of our citizen outreach and citizen involvement is to do with projects, like we have the community park in Taft, where we're doing a robust public participation portion. We have a new climate action plan that we just kicked off today, as a matter of fact. We're going to be doing a robust public outreach for that project and that plan that we're developing. We did one for the comprehensive plan that council adopted last year. So what we want to look at is other aspects of public participation with our committees and with our different things, not just projects. So next year, we're going to be tackling that. We have some things in the proposed budget to help us tackle citizen participation and kind of taking a 100,000 level view of it and how we want it to look moving forward, and what we might recommend to the council moving forward.
Climate action plan. What's that?
Oh, great question. So we have recently hired a consultant to help us develop a climate action plan, which is really dealing with greenhouse gas emissions and how we reduce those in the city and even maybe more regionally too. And many cities are doing these. There's a state mandate, I think it was in 2020, where the state is looking to overall reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And so we are preparing ourselves to take advantage of future grant funding for implementation. And right now we're doing the study. And again, there's going to be a pretty comprehensive public outreach in this for this effort.
The park in Taft that you briefly mentioned, that's coming to pass, and it's going to be a marvelous facility, will it not?
It's going to be an amazing addition to our community. It is going to be a marvelous facility. And right now, that's one of the things that we're tackling with the budget process is to find full funding for the park. Right now, we have partial funding, and ultimately, we need to find the funding for the entire brand new park.
How about the D River Park? We've talked about that a number of times. Where's that process?
So we've been making a lot of headway in that process with the state and the state agencies that we're working with. And we recently got approval from council to do an alternative bidding method so that we can move that project along once we have all the agreements in place with the state to move forward. So lots of progress in recent months on that project, and we're hoping for great things there too.
Wasn't long ago that you had a couple of new officers sworn in for the Lincoln City PD, and that seems to be going well.
Yes, it is going well in PD. We are actually getting staffed up, which it takes a lot to do that and keep staffed up, or keep staff, the amount of staff that we need. And right now we're situated relatively well. Our next big focus after we get all of our officers' positions staffed up is to hire the Linton detective, which is something that has been kind of waiting for us to get fully staffed up, boots on the ground, officers-wise.
Final question. If there was a project that is burning in your back pocket right now, Daphne LaGarza is going to say this needs to be accomplished in the next 6 months.
You know, now there's probably a few of those. The climate action plan is a big one. So, no, here's some projects that we really are trying to make headway. A lot of our master planning. We have 3 master plans in progress right now, and they're all at different stages. The more long-term planning that we can accomplish, the better off we're going to be 10, 20 years, the better decisions we're going to make in the near future. We need those roadmaps, and we need them as soon as possible. So those are some priorities that I don't want to get lost in the immediate priorities. Those are definitely immediate priorities, but they mean a lot to our long-term future.
City Manager Daphne LaGarza, City of Lincoln City, thank you very much. We'll be back in just a moment.
We at La Roca are proud of our food, but don't take our word for it. Read the reviews. One person wrote, "The service was friendly and efficient." Another writes, "La Roca has become one of our favorites because it's authentic Mexican food."
If you're looking for great early garden fresh produce, it's Kenny's IGA in the Bay Area of Lincoln City. 4 generations of Morgans caring for your every grocery need. All of your favorite beverages, a full deli, meat, produce, and of course, groceries. Our guest is Dr. Leslie Ogden, CEO of Samaritan North Lincoln Hospital and Pacific Communities Hospital in Newport. Can't really say that they're in competition, right?
Not
They
anymore.
not anymore.
Yes, that was a strategy. That was a plan. When I took over at both, I had a vision of how we could work better across the county and across the healthcare that we deliver.
Something new that is forthcoming. We're going to get into robot medicine.
We're going to get into robot surgery.
Tell me about that.
You got it. So robotics is, I guess you could think of it as the next generation of surgery. We all remember the old types of open surgery where you just made a cut and opened somebody up. I'm thinking,
I see it on television all
right,
the time.
absolutely. Mostly abdominal surgeries. Well, then there was an evolution of laparoscopic surgeries, right, where you didn't have to completely open somebody up. Maybe you just had to put a little hole in, blow some air in, and then you could work, in the abdomen that way. Well, the next iteration is robotics. And what that allows, and don't think of it as a robot actually, like a humanoid type thing standing over a patient. Rather, it is robotic arms that are controlled much in the way a video game is controlled, but the surgeon is the person
At the helm.
At the helm,
Okay.
controlling those robotic arms. And what this does, you might say, well, why in the heck does that matter? Like, why don't I want the surgeon making the cut rather than the robot making the cut? But with robotic surgery, you can get more exact cuts to precision cuts that maybe you can't even get with a human hand. With those more precise cuts, you can control blood loss. And so you have lower blood loss in surgeries, which is always safer. Several types of surgeries now are getting to be sort of a standard of care, is in that the best way to do them now is with robotics, just like we previously got to the best way to do some surgeries were laparoscopic. So it's just an evolution in medicine. Also, surgical residents are trained on robotics now in their residency. And so it is a level of service that some people have been leaving our county to go somewhere else and get. And it is a level of service that we would very much like to provide so that people can get their surgery right here at home.
Does it make a difference being able to not have to travel?
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, imagine being post-surgical and having, a drive. Even a drive over a coastal range, is significant. And that can be a whole lot of recovery and tiredness and things that you don't expect when you are just right here along the coast and can get home very quickly.
So from now on out, if I have to have the surgery, and I assume it's a specialized field of surgery, it's not all surgery, or is it?
It is some surgery. So,
Okay.
For example, a lot of urologic surgeries are now robotic. Prostate surgeries, for example. Mm-hmm. Some of our general surgeries, so abdominal surgeries, might also fall into that category. And then obstetrics and gynecologic surgeries also some of them would fall into that category.
Well, my doctor here in Lincoln City would send me to Newport, to Pacific Communities Hospital, for that type of surgery, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
They very much could. Absolutely. And so in some manners, the surgery might be just fine and just appropriate to either be done open or laparoscopic. But if you need a certain type of surgery that is recommended to be done robotically, then you will have an option to have that done in Lincoln County now.
We are really advancing, are we not?
We really are. We really, truly are.
What's the driving force behind that besides yourself?
Well, I think a lot of it is having new facilities, truthfully. I mean, we are very blessed. Good. We have the latest and greatest in both places, in our operating rooms, our sterile processing of all of our instruments, all of that. It does make a difference in having operating rooms that support the size of our robots and that instrumentation. And then something very special that we have that I never want people to forget is we have health districts. And our health districts and our elected officials
They are taxing organizations. And if we check out our property taxes, we can see those line items. But they do great work, and they assure our health. They work in conjunction with Samaritan and other healthcare providers in the region, and particularly the Pacific Communities Health District has partnered with Samaritan on upgrading the hospital, because the hospital there is still owned by the health district.
Sure.
So they have partnered to upgrade the ORs, provide new electrical systems, new instrumentation, all of that to support the robots. And it really truly is a partnership, because it's about $1 million endeavor to do all of this. And then that's not even the amount that the robot itself costs.
And I would have to think that it does make recruiting potential new surgeons possible.
Absolutely. So all of the new surgeons, as they come out of their training, they're going to be looking to go to places that have the ability for them to continue to do surgeries as they've been trained. And robotics is definitely something that we'll have to offer them. And we can see a future where some surgeries might be done in open and laparoscopic ways, and continue that in North Lincoln. We definitely want to continue that. But those specialty surgeries that need robotics, then you just go as far as Newport to get that done.
Really pleased that Dr. Leslie Ogden will be here a couple of times a month to talk about the hospital, the medical facilities, because it is critically important to being able to live here.
Absolutely. And we hear that all the time. People who move here, people who are looking at our communities, they want to know what kind of medical services are here, and they want to know what kind of care they're going to get in our hospitals. And we want to make sure they get the best.
Northwest Septic Service is your one-stop shop for all your septic needs.
Northwest Septic Service offers pumping, maintenance, repair, and inspections with one call, 541-994-6977.
Buying or selling a home? Northwest Septic Service can inspect your sewer line or an entire septic system.
Old or failing septic system? Northwest Septic Service can rejuvenate most drain fields, saving you thousands of dollars. 541-994-6977.
Serving Lincoln, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, Northwest Septic Service. As we conclude the show today, let's take a look at some of the other activities in and around the Lincoln City community. And I'm really pleased about this one that Lincoln City is building, this new community park down in Taft. Had the opportunity to go down for the Easter egg hunt in that Taft Park last Saturday, and it's going to be just a magnificent facility. There's lots of parking, there's lots of space, and I look forward to that. So you could help build that by attending a special program at Chinook Woods Casino Resort Friday, April 19th at 5:30. It is a silent auction and social hour, a new park fundraiser kickoff. Don't miss it. Community Days 24 kicks off April 12th. That's with the Northwest Natural Bonfire on the beach down by Moe's. It'll be followed up on Saturday with the Rotary Mudflat Golf Classic, a scavenger hunt. Cascaded Biosphere. Tell me about that, Paul.
Yeah, the scavenger hunt's going to be at Regatta Grounds, 2 o'clock to 3:30, and it's a nature-based, place-based scavenger hunt. So we're going to be visiting the heritage tree and the lake, and we're going to have prizes for folks. So come on down, 2 o'clock, Regatta Grounds on Saturday the 13th.
And you had somebody sign on as one of the guest judges?
We did. Well, she's going to host our tree. The mayor of Lincoln City is going to be joining us. So thank you, Mayor Walkie.
Community Days Celebration Awards and Banquet, kind of a banquet, it's very casual with a no-host bar, snacks, and some food. That'll be on Saturday, April the 13th as well. On the 16th, we got Hometown History, sponsored by Kenny's IGA. That'll be at Oregon Coast Community College at 5:30. Wednesday, the 17th, Secrets of Salsa at St. Peter the Fisherman Lutheran Church. It will be a kick. Great Oregon Coast Garage Sale happens April 19 and 2021. Registration is now open, and you better hustle in if you want to be on that program. Meals on Wheels program run out of the community center. Still looking for volunteers. If you'd like to be part of that, please get a hold of Kerry Johnson at 994-7731. Also, the Friends of the Lincoln City Park is holding that raffle that's coming up at Chinook Winds. Talk to David Jameson about that. And surplus pot sale, that's something we talked about last week, closes April 7th for online ordering. In-person event and pickup is on April the 13th up in Tillamook. And I really still am pleased with this Celebrate Earth Day with Camp West Winds.
Yeah, so on the 20th, which is the Saturday ahead of Earth Day, so April 20th, Westwood's going to have that event 10 to 3, I think are the times, and meet there at Night Park and get the ferry boat across and hit the sand and then head off to the lodge. Just amazing places, and I'm actually going to be out there myself helping with the Raindrop to Sea Trail, so we're going to be doing some docent work down out there with the Raindrop to Sea Trail.
Obviously, the governmental agencies have found the podcast. We received this from the Oregon Department of Transportation. The Otter Crest Loop is going to have some major preservation work taking place in April. They'll put up a system to contain the work and help protect the environment. It will look like they're wrapping the bridge in plastic, so that's forthcoming.
Okay, look for that.
You could expect, as they said, noise, delays, and occasional lane closures. World War II Watchtower dedication ceremony, Saturday, May 25, 1 o'clock. This will honor all of the armed services presented by the Taft Cemeteries Association. Speaking of veterans, the city has developed the hole in the ground that the flagpole will go in at the Veterans Park in the Ocean Lake area of Lincoln City. And the dedication of that will be on Flag Day coming up in June.
June 14th.
Look forward to that.
Great.
Yep. And let's see, from the biosphere, you still got a bunch of activities forthcoming, Paul, and you mentioned one that you tied in with it with Camp Westwind, but you got other things as well, correct?
Yeah, that scavenger hunt there. It's going to be again at Regatta Grounds. And then the summer season is going to kick off pretty much right after that. Art on the Beach, July 6th. The Sand Art Contest, August 3rd, which is a special day for me.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
And
somebody's throwing his own birthday party.
Yeah. And then later on in August, we'll have another Gyotaku printing workshop. So look for that and just visit cascadehead.org to learn more.
And we're going to give away a gift certificate today, which is kind of fun. This is a gift certificate to Chinook Winds Casino Resort dining establishments, the buffet in particular. It could be the deli, could be across the street at the hotel, could be at the Rogue River Room up at the golf course. It's $30, but we received this very nice note from a longtime fan of Lincoln City, relatively new resident. She writes, I somehow stumbled upon your show a few weeks ago, and it's been a great source of information about the goings-ons in Lincoln City. I hear about activities and issues, but I don't find through other avenues. Thank you so much for bringing this show to the residents of Lincoln City. I listened through Apple Podcasts. That's from Jessica. Jessica, appreciate the kind words, the good words, and for your efforts. I can be bought, and I can pass on to you one buffet admission to Chinook Woods Casino Resort. That's just a nice note.
Yeah, that's a nice note, and so all the rest of those entries will pass on to the next batch too. That's as well. So.
Absolutely. But when somebody takes the time to write a email like that, I'm going to honor that email.
We appreciate the feedback, Jessica. Thank you so much.
And don't forget, coming up at Chinook Winds, there's a host of different entertainment venues coming, including the Village People on Saturday, June 8th. The Beach Bacon and Brews is going to be on July 13th. War is coming July 20th. One night only. So buy your tickets early for that show because it will sell out and sell out in a hurry. Chinook Woods Casino Resort, because it truly is better at the beach. Anything else your side of the table?
We're clear from here.
So send us an email about how you're listening to our podcast, when you're listening to the podcast. I love good comments. Well, I'll even take criticisms. May not read that, but I'll take it anyway.
Very good.
And that'll do it to the doings on the Double R Show. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share so you, your family, and friends around the world and across the street can join us on the Double R Show. For Paul, Jenna, I'm Double R. Have a happy day.
You've been listening to The Double R Show. Join Roger and Paul Robertson as they explore everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, produced by Always Productions and hosted by Roger Robertson. Have a story? Email contact@alwaysproductions.com or call 458-201-3039. For The Double R Show, I'm Jana Grawn.